G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I have to start off talking about the big topic, Mongraal, Mitr0, and Quinton not being able to qualify out of round 1 because Mongraal crashed. They didn't qualify by 1 point, and in the last game, with enough loot to easily get that extra point, Mongraal crashed. And it opens up the topic of why were they so close? Why was it only 1 point? Everyone keeps asking me on stream today, do you think Mongraal and Mitr0 are going to split? Do you think they're washed? I want to talk about them as a team because now we've had another week of a pretty poor performance overall. I know they crashed in the last game, but a team with Mongraal and Mitr0 in it really shouldn't be coming down to 1 game or 1 point difference anyway. So I want to talk about that. I also have to talk about how many people were crashing today and how many bugs there were in FNCS to hopefully give you guys a heads up, because we've had OCE round 2 and 3 today, and we had a similar issue to the Cypher PK Cup yesterday that happened to Zate. Stop Zate from getting money, stop chat from getting money, where again 8 minutes out from the last game a queue didn't pop. So I want to give you guys some advice for how you can play FNCS today, and if there's any pros watching, make sure you avoid the mistake that so many people in OCE made today. Just quickly before we jump into today's video, I have to say a huge thank you to the sponsor, Displate. If you're looking to decorate your stream room or just somewhere in your house, make sure you check out Displate. They have over 1.4 million designs in everything, nature, anime, games, history, comics, whatever you like. You guys might know I'm obviously a huge video game fan, but I'm also a massive anime fan, and I got sent 12 of these for my stream wall, and they look so beautiful. They're all premium printed. It's all metallic as well, so this isn't going to scratch, it's not going to fade, and the installation is so simple. Because it's magnetic, you just stick the film on the wall, you have the magnetic strip, and you stick it straight on. You can adjust them, you can switch them around, there's no paint, and when you take them off later, they're not going to peel off your paint. If you want to get some as well, the link in the description down below, my link, it'll be helping me out if you use it. You're also going to get 30% off if you buy 1 or 2, or 35% off if you're going to buy 3 or more, and every single one you buy, Displate pledges to plant a tree. Before I show you exactly what happened at the very end of the tournament when Mongraal crashed, because it was actually pretty funny, he handled it well, a little bit heartbreaking for the tens of thousands of people in his chat that watched it happen, but let's go back to the start of the tournament. Let's look how they performed. They came in 1,642nd on 135 points, and to get top 1,500 trios, which is what's necessary to go through to round 2 in EU, they would have needed 136 points. One more elimination, but let's look at their match history. They started off relatively strong like they always do. They got a 13 elim 17th, but then they backed it up with a 40 elim win. And now at this point, things are looking good. Mongraal Mitr0 are back. Things are going to happen. They're dominating. And then things went bad really, really quickly. They got a 5 elim 7th, a 0 elim 27th, a 5 elim 18th, a 0 elim 20th, a 3 elim 17th, and then a 17 elim 6th, and a 0 elim 16th, which is the game they crashed. And the thing I want to point out is especially those long games in the middle. That 5 elim 18th, the 0 elim 20th, and the 3 elim 17th, those are all 13 minutes, 19 minutes, and 14-minute games. That's the issue. They were making it into stack lobbies. They were getting towards that 4th, 5th, 6th zone where you start to get all the points, and then something would go wrong. And this is what I want to talk about, because everyone's going to ask about why aren't they doing so well? Are they just messing around? And you've probably heard everything. You've probably heard that the meta doesn't support them, or you've got the people saying they're washed, or you got the people saying the only reason they've done well is because they used to have OP Retail Row, and then they had Stark Industries. That was crazy strong. I don't think it's these massive big topics. I think there's a few things that are going wrong in their game plan, and it comes down to the fact that Mongraal and Mitr0 are still mechanically some of the best players in the game, but they took a break at the end of last season and into this season, and they just don't play customs, and they just don't have the meta figured out. And I'm not just basing this off nothing. I went back and I watched a bunch of the games. I'll show you some examples as well right here. They're going into endgame. They're looking pretty good. They've made an unfortunate rotation. There was a pretty poor decision on where they were going to base up, so they didn't have a lot of materials. They chose to key a team, which, you know, normally they win a lot of these fights. Things go south, they get split up, and they don't end up going as well. This is pretty much the story for a lot of their games. There was other games where they were just rotating normally. They got a bit unlucky. Mongraal got 3-2-1 by a team they couldn't see, and they went down. It wasn't these crazy issues, but it just seems to come down to the fact that they haven't been playing enough practice. They don't have enough of an idea of the meta down, and everyone keeps talking about, oh, they need to find just a really really good IGL, a phenomenal IGL who can fight and keep up with them when they key, but then tell them what to do and then be a really good tarper. You just basically said they need to find the best player in the game. The only person who hasn't found a team yet, not just in EU, but the world, is pretty much Aqua, and he's not playing. He's taken a break. So I don't like this mentality of they just need to find someone better. I think Quinton's doing fine. I think Quinton's honestly playing at the same level as Mongraal and Mitr0 right now. It's just Mongraal and Mitr0 need to decide, are they going to keep taking competitive seriously? Are they going to start getting more into customs, VOD reviewing, and figuring out the meta? Because right now, despite their ridiculous mechanics, it's just they haven't got things figured out like a lot of the other teams, and I don't think it would be hard. They are still phenomenal players. I just think they need to put that little bit of time into what's their game plan and how are they actually playing the games, other than just there's a team there, they look bad, let's kill them. And I'm going to admit, my EU knowledge is not the greatest. If you disagree with me, I'm not going to say I'm 100% expert on this field. I'm going to show the opinions of some of the experts who follow this region and know these players really well to back it up and give you a better understanding. Levin2k, which if you're an EU fan, you've definitely heard about, is now an analyst on the official broadcast for EU. He tweeted out, based on what you've seen from them, can Mongraal and Mitr0 get all the way to round 4 and get top 10? If, like me, your answer is no, then these guys aren't even making heats. Howler. And that's the thing. Right now, Mongraal and Mitr0 are in the position where if they play next week, they need to get to round 4 and then make top 10 in round 4 if they're even going to make heats, because there is no chance for them to make it on consistency points now. If they make round 4 and come 11th, there is still no way they're going to be in the top 100 most consistent trios. You also then had Reese Hub. Obviously, again, if you're an EU fan, you know who Reese is. He's an official analyst, again, on the broadcast. He said no. He just straight up said no. I don't think they're going to be able to make heats. You had Coach Timmy point out saying, I'm completely baffled by it. Two of the best players the world's ever seen, and neither of them have IGLing abilities to make it past opens. I think it really goes to show how many of these players rely on pure talent alone and don't really have a grasp of fundamentals or meta. Now, I don't really know about fundamentals. Again, Timmy's kind of touching on what I said. They're great players who've been around forever. They have phenomenal mechanics and they've had great game sense in the past, but the meta's changed. The game's being played differently. They need to change things up, and they need to reinvest that time back into maybe hitting some VOD reviews and seeing what's going wrong, because it's not a mechanics thing. It's definitely a decision making or chemistry issue. Sometimes, again, you saw it with Mongraal, Mitr0, Benji. You don't see it as much with Quinton, because I'm seeing Quinton kind of just follow their lead more. He's not trying to say, hey, let's go over here, let's go above this team. He's not trying to tell them what to do. They're kind of just following whoever just screams the loudest and pushes a team. I'm not kidding. That's what it looks like. Obviously, all of this could just be over-analyzing in the sense that it was only 1 point in the end. And let me show you exactly what happened to make them not qualify by 1 point. This was, I want to say, a bit funny just because they were laughing and having a good time with it, but it was pretty gut-wrenching too.
I can't help but laugh in this situation. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
2 points though. This is 30, it's over there.
We need to stay together like it our life though. Like, no joke. I just got disconnected!
What?
No!
No.
It's over!
No,
I just got disconnected!
Chill, I can get the points.
Quinton, oh my god! No, this game doesn't want us to go!
Shut up. I'm 300 below. All your search is gone.
Even though the clip starts off with Mongraal laughing and saying he can't help but laugh at the situation they've got themselves in, they only needed 1 point. They weren't looking good. They were looking pretty shambles. They were a duo. They didn't have a lot of mats, but they would have 100% got a single point there if Mongraal didn't crash. Because what happened was, as you heard in the clip, Mongraal crashed and then Quinton lost the surge that Mongraal got, which put him below surge, so he had to play more aggressive. If they could have just played the little mats they had, eaten the floppers, they would have easily gotten just the 1 point they needed. But the reason why I talked about all that other stuff before this is because, again, it's Mongraal and Mitr0. It shouldn't really be coming down to a game crash or 1 point or the final game to make it out of round 1. You really want to see them like top 10, top 100 max in round 1. At the same time, it does look like that at least Mongraal's having fun. Mongraal, Mitr0, Quinten in the games were all having fun. They were having a laugh. Sometimes they get frustrated when they died in ways they know they shouldn't have, but for the most part, they were having fun. So I don't know. I might be putting all these assumptions on Mongraal and Mitr0 about how they need to VOD review, how they need to improve. Maybe they just don't want to anymore. Maybe they're enjoying the position they're at. Mongraal's just having fun streaming tournaments, even when they didn't qual. I mean, if you go back and watch the VOD after that clip, Mongraal's pretty much laughing the whole time. Quinten's having a laugh about it. The only one who did seem to be pretty upset and wasn't too happy about it was Mitr0. He did go a little bit quiet and he seemed quite frustrated they didn't qualify. So I don't know, maybe that's just Mitr0 taking it a bit more serious, but I wanted to make sure I included that. I don't know, maybe Mongraal and Mitr0 just don't want to play competitive Fortnite as much anymore, and I'm putting this huge expectation on them when they're just happy with being at the position they are. Unfortunately, Mongraal wasn't the only one to suffer at the hand of a crash. We have got the Q bug right now, and I've never seen this many people crash before, not just in round 1 of NA East, but also round 2 and 3 of OCE. People were crashing all the time, and as you know, when you crash, you then sometimes get the Q bug because you failed to query the tournament rules, then you have to wait to queue and go again. So right now, crashing is causing more issues than what it even normally does, but the one thing I wanted to talk about to make sure I warn you guys about if you're playing FNCS today, be really, really careful with the timing of your last game, especially if you're at the top of the leaderboards. So I don't know if it's going to cause too much of an issue from the bottom of the leaderboards, but same as you saw in yesterday's video with the teams that tried to queue into the Cypher PK Cup round 2 at the very end, the people in the top 10 didn't get a game, but the people outside the top 10 did. Well, that just happened today again in OCE round 3. You had an 8-minute queue that meant almost no team inside the top 15 got a game, but all the teams beneath that got a game really fast. And this is odd because you'd think there's a lot of people ready to play at the end of a tournament with this Q bug. People had games to spare. I've never seen this many people at the top of a leaderboard or even in a tournament in general not run out of games. The qualifications for OCE have been around the same or not really any higher points, which is strange because every other FNCS, as the weeks have gone on, the points have jumped up because more people get champs, more people are seeing FNCS, hearing about it, so they want to play, so they get involved. That's not happening because of the Q bugs. So if you're playing FNCS and you're timing your games, try to give yourself a solid amount of time to get your last game queue. Normally you'd leave like 5-6 minutes to be safe. I'd be looking more around the 8-9 mark. So maybe if you're in that W key game, you know, you've got 6 minutes to get out of your game and you have a chance to win it, maybe go all in for the win rather than trying to go for your game. Obviously, it's just based on what I'm seeing, but I wanted to make sure you guys know because I've seen this now happen about 4 times in different regions, in different rounds for FNCS and other tournaments. It looks like something has changed with the skill-based matchmaking or the queue system, or it's just really terrible luck, but I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of it. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, make sure to check out Display in the link in the description. Pick up some stuff. I really can't say how happy I am with their product. You guys know I'm only going to bring sponsors onto this stream that I really, really endorse. I've even been talking about them on stream just because I'm so happy with how my wall looks. If you liked today's video, please chuck a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.